do me a favor, please. I'm going live right now, so don't text me, don't call me, because it messes up my phone while I'm doing this. So I try to do this in the morning. My phone's not ringing, but okay. So I'm going to start this video, and we're going to talk about a bunch of things. Okay, but we're going to basically keep this video to one thing called harmonics. You're like, what's that? Harmonics. A picture of me showing up at your house, and let's say you're sick, and nobody can figure out why you're sick or what's making causing odors and or making your body do different things in your home. Illnesses, sicknesses, diseases. People think a lot of times it's a black box, one thing that causes all of it, but it's not. It's a bunch of things that relate to it. If a plane crashes, they open the black box and bada boom, they find out some kind of switch, and everybody died because of a bad switch. But our bodies are different, and so I'm not going to sit here and tell you one certain thing, okay? But this is huge. This is huge. So we do spend a lot of time in our homes, okay? We 50, 60%, but now ever since 2019, the world changed, right? So we're working out of our homes. Our kids move back because they can't afford, staying in their college their dormitories or their apartments are too expensive. Our parents are back home. We got a lot of people living in our houses. Plus, we have less homes to rent because they tore down 33 million of them, and I'll get a video on that, not by accident. But it's also our population is decreasing. I got a video on that, and so, but it doesn't matter. We're getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and we're more medicated. And the doctors, we go more to doctors. I mean, look at the biggest cities. What runs them? Hospitals. There's always like Cleveland's the Cleveland Clinic, and then you're racing, with the university hospitals, and it's like there's 4 or 5 hospitals, in my part of the neck of the woods, all competing for your sickness, and they're not telling you about holistics, and they're not. Now this is holistics. It's got nothing to do with like special doctor. This is Marko, me. I'm going to give you some holistics here that'll might fix you, or not might fix you, but might let you get healthier. And we're just gonna talk about one thing right now. We're gonna talk about harmonics. And like it's not a harmonica, but think about it. It kind of is. We play harmonica, you got D D D D. You can play different notes, right? Those are different frequencies, right? And so I'm not sure if that's where the word came from, but it's basically a form of dirty electricity. And I'm probably the only guy in Northeast America that goes. I got a briefcase, or like actually a suitcase full of really weird, goofy space tools. They come in your house and tell you where to move your bed because you're getting electromagnetic fields. I tell you to move your chair because you get magnetic fields. I tell you about bed springs because they cause magnetism. I talk about the microwaves. I talk about a bunch of stuff. Okay, what kind of light bulbs you're supposed to be using. What's get rid of dimmer switches and all these things. Okay, and it's kind of a frequency inspection. But this one here, I want to let out the bag because I'm not all about just making money. Money's all fake. You manufacture, you're a slave of the money. Then the money actually kills you because you die at the end because you spend your whole life trying to make it. I'm not here to make money off of you. Okay, I do have services. If you want to call me, call Marko with a question and Google it. Yeah, $29. I'll talk to you anywhere in the country with any kind of house problem. I mean, I did spend 40 years inspecting homes, over 18,000 homes, had all kind of licenses and certs. Below will be a few links, and also I'll have my book down there. I'll have a few books for you to read now, but I'm not going to publish my book until probably 2023 because I got a few experiments still going on it. They're going to be crazy. But harmonics. So, I've gone to people's homes and and I got a couple of gauges I use. And one of my less expensive gauges, I use a $100 gauge. I plug it in, I go to your bedroom, your master bedroom, and I plug this thing in your wall. And all of a sudden the thing starts playing like AM radio station 1120. And I'm listening to some preacher, man, talking about, thumping out the Bible. And I'm like, any outlet in that room is doing that, right? So I take that, go to the kid's bedroom, plug it in that wall. Man, now that was like 1620. That was, I'm listening to like a college radio station, some, funkadelic music, George Clinton's jamming away, like, oh, that's some good stuff. I go, yeah, I like this. Yeah, really? That room's playing George Clinton. And then I go into another bedroom, and that one's like fuzzy stuff because it's like in between radio stations. So every room in your home is producing its own frequency depending on what's happening, okay? And so we'll talk about how to lower. I know I'm not going to tell you we're going to stop it. I go to homes where the city's pumping in dirty electricity right to the house, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's people who, I've got clients that most people call me are people who are electrically sensitized, and I don't know if I solve their problems, but at least I try to help them. I mean, I'll go to your house and you don't have to hire me, man. You can look this stuff up, read a few books. I'll even put a few links below on a couple of books you need to read. I mean, I'm not here inventing the wheel here. I'm just like learning about it. I'm 61, and the older you get, the wiser you get, the more things you see, and what led me to believe to adding a chapter, to my life. And I was already doing this stuff. I was already testing electromagnetic. My electromagnetic field gauge I bought 30, 40 years ago. So it's not like, oh yeah, the pyramids. Oh yeah, there's some people on because I am live, and yeah, I do see this one holistic doctor. I told you in some of my other videos, it's all about the bias of everybody, and that's how you find the truth. So, you know, I still believe in some conventional med. I'm not gonna say I don't believe in it, but I also believe in my own medicine. I also believe in holistics, and so yeah, pyramids are pretty cool. Sorry, I'm just answering some people that are live. Anyways, so I found out that we're getting sicker and sicker, and after 2019, we're spending more time in our homes than we did before. I mean, we already spent 60% of our life in our homes, so now we're spending 70, 80, because we're working out of our houses now. Things changed. More people are in. The parents came back home. They can't afford, paying money to their old age homes. The kids are back home, when they can't find good jobs that pay enough. And so our houses are filled and all the phones are plugged in. So yeah, last thing you want to do is be sleeping next to a charger. That's rule number one, because that produces not only dirty harmonics and dirty electricity, and also produces electromagnetic fields right next to your bed. Move that stuff away or turn it off, or don't even plug it in. You know, but so things that are plugged in the walls will create harmonics, the whole wall. And so you have to think about our homes. They're wired. We can't get rid of wiring, and they're wired differently. We've got 2 wire systems, 3 wire systems, some are in conduit. And every home is different, and I'm not going to try to explain all that here. But a lot of homes also have multiple panels, electrical panels, a main panel and a sub panel. A lot of these sub panels aren't wired right. They're the neutrals and grounds are sharing in the sub panel because they think it works, but it causes dirty electricity and harmonics. And so you need to check out electrical panel and make sure that you're not. And you're probably like wondering, okay, what's bad about harmonics? Anyways, keep that in mind. Electrical panel, neutrals and grounds, have the electrician check it and fix that. And then make sure there's nothing underneath your ground wire, if you've got a ground wire going across the room in your basement. Don't have any chairs above it. All right. I'll throw these things out as I do this video. So all these people you heard were dying in these high-rise buildings in China and and France and New York City. Yeah, think about it. They lock you down in an apartment that's high-rise buildings. They're all wired differently, okay? And most of us are wearing tennis shoes, running shoes. What do you want to call them? Hopefully you didn't spend more than $30 for them. If you spent 150, you're a collective puppet. Your propaganda and your brain has been hijacked by commercialism. So hopefully you got cheap ones, but it doesn't matter. They're still rubber soles, and you're wearing them, so you're not grounded. Okay, so think about this. You got a building with 500 people in this building, 500 telephones plugged into walls, all not grounded. Can't go out of the house, out of the building. And this your house is no different. But I'm just giving an example why they start off with all those people dying in those buildings. Okay, coming out in body bags, right? Then the next thing was what ventilators. We're not going to get into all that because we're talking about harmonics and dirty electricity. We're talking about you. There's my finger. There's my camera. You can solve these problems after this video is over. You can go fix these problems right now if you see a lot of them. I'm not going to say you're going to fix them all, but I'm sure you can do a lot. So let's just start off, and and I will have a book below and some products below. My book's not going to come out till late 2023, but I'll have some other ones on it you can read. So, number one, let's just talk about light bulbs, okay? And There's different light bulbs. Edison came out with the incandescent. You know what? That light was in the red and the yellow. Red and yellow frequencies are good frequencies. Okay, they don't create dirty electricity, not as much. They don't create harmonics. So that's what you want. The light bulbs that they try to shut down and quit making, they're on the bottom shelf at Home Depot. Those are the ones you want. Okay, maybe you don't want the 100 and 200. Maybe you have 200 ones, 150s that got hot. And that's the reason they got rid of those light bulbs, because they got hot. They produced heat, and that was wasting electricity. And the green wave flagger is like, oh, bad for the environment. It's okay. You take them all to those greenhouses and put your light bulbs in their house. Let them use them. So let's talk about bad light bulbs. So We'll start off going backwards from the best to the worst. Then you get the halogens, then the mercury vapors, and those around. The light starts changing to yellow. You don't want to. You want to be in the orange and red light. That's your frequency. That's life. Plants like that. That's the sun. Right now we're going to go backwards. We're going to hit yellow and start hitting greens. And so those light bulbs are dirty. They will create some harmonics and dirty electricity. Getting down worse, the next one is LEDs. LEDs aren't good. Now, maybe they're coming up with some LEDs that are in a different frequency, but LEDs are in the green light zone. Green light's not good. Remember I said the sunlight is the right color you want. Green means now you're getting 400 and 3, 4, 500 range, and that's causing dirty electricity. That's causing harmonics. Then you move down to getting really bad now. Compact fluorescent lights. The ones with mercury in them. You break one of those, you got to put a hazmat suit to clean up. By the way, you notice how they roll those out, and now they're slowly rolling them. They roll them in, and now they're slowly rolling them out. Man, you can't even take those to a dump. You got to take it to a special dump. Those are horrible. Those are like in the purple range, the blue range, and those create bad things in your house. Harmonics. Okay. Oh, now you're trying to figure out, well, what's harmonics and why those people get sick in the building because they're not grounded because they're wearing tennis shoes, right? Okay. So harmonics, the higher the harmonics in your home, the more exposed, the less you ground yourself. You see, we are electrical systems, and our electrical system is charged. I mean, your whole house is an electrical system. Very complicated. Very complicated. And so if your electricity in your body goes up, you ever heard of like lead and asbestos, and they call body burden. The more you get, the worse it gets, right? Well, as your electricity goes up in your body, you get, we'll call it body burden, electrical body burden. It keeps increasing, right? So if you're walking in your house all day because you live in your house, because you work out of your house and you eat out of your house, and you take your parents to your house, your kids are living in a basement. We'll put some videos about living, other problems in our house besides just harmonics. Harmonics is one out of like 500 things, but it's a big one. It's a huge one, and so what's happening is your body is picking up electricity. So you're going from the millivolts to like a volt or 2 or 3, and every time you walk by that room, it's producing harmonics. Your body, the induced harmonics, is getting into your body, causing electricity to grow and get bigger, and you're not grounded because you're in a high-rise building on story 22, and you're wearing Reeboks tennis shoes, and the rubber soled, and so you're charging and charging and charging, and what is your immune system doing? Your immune system, it's crashing and crashing and becoming weaker and weaker because electricity doesn't help your immune system. So now your immune system is down because you're charged up. And oh, by the way, I'll talk about things. When you're charged up, you should just go out, walk outside, take your shoes off. And some people say you got to be in the ground for 20 minutes. And yeah, you can watch videos on grounding. You can buy Matter of fact, I'll have some grounding stuff below. I am an Amazon affiliate. It's not like you guys are giving me money to make these videos, so I get a little bit of money if you buy some products. Just use my link for that. And you can buy anything you want from Amazon, and I'll have some grounding products down there. But forget it. There was a show called Call Sal, and it was really cool. No one's going to see it. They thought his dad was a nutcase, and he wasn't. He was. They try to turn this all into junk science, electromagnetic fields. Okay, and electromagnetic fields we're talking about harmonics. They're related, man. So EMFs, electric fields, electromagnetic fields, frequency, and and dirty voltage, dirty electricity, and it, it does hurt our immune system. So now our immune system is getting crashed, and so somebody sneezes in an elevator shaft, and everybody gets that China thing, okay? And your immune system's down, right? And if they manufacture a good virus, then they could do a lot more damage to you, right? So you got a whole building full of sick people because they're all charged up. The reason they're charged up is because they're wearing souls. There's no way to go outside, and to ground yourself. And as I started saying, the show, you better call Sal. His dad had a ground rod pound at the front door. Brilliant. And he would walk in and he'd walk in the house and touch the ground rod. Okay. And then he said, but you're also supposed to take off your shoes and all your watches and all that before you go, put in a mailbox before you go in the house. They're trying to make, you have to remember, when you watch TV and you watch agenda-driven, narrative-driven stuff, it's about to twist things to change your perceptions and, say yes, yes, and no. They say it over and over and over and over and over. And if you watch some of my videos, I talk about repetitive programming and the cognitive dissonance and, changes the way you think. The wall goes up and so that's what they try to do to you. But if you can see through that, this guy grounds himself and he decharges. And when you ground yourself and you go outside, take your shoes off, step on the ground, and all of a sudden you ground yourself. And when you do that, you get to start over again, right? But then at the same token, you don't want to keep building up the electricity in your home. You'll go back in your house. You spend the next 3 days in your house because in one room you're doing your work because you work remotely. And plus you got like 3 kids. They plug in their chargers. Excuse me. And all this stuff is... I should be selling coffee, right? It's funny. You watch these guys on their Patreon, and they sit there, drink coffee. Then they say, "Oh, good coffee," and they try to sell you coffee below on a link. I'm not doing that. Anyways, I'm 60. I forgot what I was talking about. No, I didn't. I don't have a script, so I can always do a different video every day, and it'll always be different. So basically, these people in these high rises were getting sick, and they made a big deal out of it, and they were getting sick, and their immune systems were down. And the older people, if you had any sicknesses, and here's another thing, if you got a sickness, and your immune system goes down, then that sickness gets worse, and then your drugs create another issue, right? And it's some type of problem, which you get another drug for. It's a big domino effect. So let's just start off with the root of all evil. Like, number one is, if you're sick, find out what parasite you got because that's like depleting your body of stuff, and that's causing all kind of problems, right? And the doctors don't talk about parasites. 80% of them have parasites. There's single cell parasites, there's worms, you have all kind of stuff, amoebas, ringworms, and then you even have certain type of insects. These things make us sick, okay? And when things that make us sick, they make us sick because they kill our immune system. So today we're talking about harmonics and your immune system. So we just talked about light bulbs, right? And so what do you want to do? Maybe those LEDs aren't the ones you want, and certainly not the compact fluorescence. Now, that causes dirty electricity, causes all the wiring in your house to become a transmitter. It becomes a transmitter. It's like you're living in an antenna. And then your body is an electrical system, and when you sit in that room, it's like around the circle you get electromagnetic fields, you get electric fields, and all of a sudden your body you're inducing the currents causing voltage in your body. And when you cause the voltage to go up because you wore shoes and didn't ground yourself for like a long time, like sometimes, all day long, and then you just get in your bed and you're not grounded, you put your shoes back on, your slippers, you never leave the building, man. These people in these high rises that were locked down, by being locked down in these high rises, they kill these people. And even healthy people, because some of these people who leave those buildings for 5 days, 10 days in a row. Think about it. I mean, you haven't gone outside, you haven't stepped on the ground, and there's no way of grounding yourself because they didn't tell them about it. And then somebody goes in the elevator and sneezes. and the elevator shaft communicates with all the units, and now everybody's got that man-made virus, right? And their immune systems are down, and when they're down, they get sick, and there's no way they get better because they're not letting you take holistics. They're, you know, telling you to do stupid things, okay? And and so people are dropping like flies or coming out in body bags. And this happened in 2000. You guys remember all them high rises? And you know what? You got to think about why they actually did that. It was okay. Do you remember a long time ago? Boom, boom, and a couple buildings come down, right? That was world trauma. Okay, and what is trauma? Trauma. That's why kids, when they have trauma, it dissociates their minds. Okay, and that's why you can control them. That's why these kids grow up and, you know, they do stupid things. Okay, and also people, they're like almost sleepers because their mind gets associated when you have trauma. And when you have trauma, you also not only mess up with the mind, electrical system, but it also contributes to your immune system. And so if your immune system goes down, then you're susceptible to anything. Okay. And if you have a sickness, and we all do, if you have an amoeba or you have a parasite, 8% of people do, and you're low on iron and zinc, calcium, because let's say your thread room's eating it up, right? Because that's what it does. And you don't believe it because you don't think worms live in your body, but a lot of people have. And all of a sudden you're low on those, okay? And then you throw in the harmonics, and then you throw in the body burden, and the body electrical body burden goes up, right? When that goes up, your immune system starts crashing more and more and more, and you start getting sick, all kind of stuff. There's, death. Then you go to cancer, and then you got 500 things before cancer. Right. You just need one of those in that 500 range, and that along with another one, and then a couple, then you have a couple drugs that you take, and they cause some side effects, right? And those things interact. That's why I said it's not a black box. It's not a black box that makes us sick. Now, some doctors want to say it's a black box, and there's some home inspectors that wrote books, environmental people that want to blame it on it. And sure, if you did old breaks your old life, and you die of asbestosis, yeah, of course, that's part of the black box. But most of us, it's a combination of stuff. It's particle pollution. We have carpets, we have humidity, and we're spending so much time in our homes now. Ever since 2019, we're spending 70-80% of our time in our homes. We're like in a prison, and that prison that we're locked in is full of poison, lots of poison, but I will below. I have a few links, a couple of books and publications, but hopefully this video will still be up in 2023 later because I've got my book coming out. I started a book 30, 40 years ago and put it on hold, and then somebody stole the name, and I'm glad I didn't do it. Well, this book is pretty good. I got a couple more experiments I got to finish, and I'll get the book out, but all the stuff will be in there. And so we're they tear down all these homes, 33 million homes they tore down in 2008, right? If there was an accident, I got some videos on that, and the population growth is decreasing. I got videos on that, and so yes, the population is decreasing, but we're more and more people are living in their homes, and now they got tiny home syndrome. Oh man, folks, you go lock yourself up in a tiny house, man. You don't got enough CO2, too much CO2, right? Not enough oxygen, you know. And hey, I got a few questions. A few people talked about pyramids. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff talking about purple streetlights. Yeah, those are LEDs in the streetlights. And I have some videos on YouTube on all that stuff. And yeah, the purple streetlights and LEDs, not good. And the LEDs in your home aren't good, right? And we talked about that. I hope I did. And I'm in it for 24 minutes now. So hopefully I talked about light bulbs. Anyway, let me keep going here. So there's more things, so we could change that out. Then dimmer switches. We don't want that. Dimmer switches cause high electromagnetic fields, and they cause their electricity and high harmonics. So we've learned now that harmonics in our homes, and we spend time in our homes, like all those people did that died in the high-rise buildings. We're also dying in our homes. We're getting sick, and our kids are getting sick, and a lot of it has to do with tight claustrophobic conditions, and lack of oxygen. The CO2 levels go up. We got outgassing of all our products in our house. We bring in, everyone's got a pet. We got carpets, and we got fecal pellets from the dust mites, and we got particulate floating around, and we got electromagnetics, we have frequencies, we got a granite countertop that's emitting radiation because it came somewhere from Italy, and it's got radon gas, and this list goes on and on. It's all in my book, and which, by the way, ain't coming out till 2023. But we need to look at the electrical systems, right? We need to, and the best thing is, routers are another one too. These things all also contribute to it. So maybe we turn those off at night. Maybe, we don't have wireless stuff. Wireless is a whole other one. People got wireless mouses, those create electromagnetic fields. But we're talking about harmonics, okay? We're talking about radio stations in our bedrooms. And so basically our wiring system causes the harmonics. Harmonics causes your immune system to get hurt. Then that increases the electrical body burden, right? Which makes us susceptible to any kind of sickness. And so electricity isn't helping us out. We're spending more time in our home, more people in our home, more mammals breathing in our home, all these things, okay? And also if we don't pick the right place to live. We'll do a video on that. That's going to be a scary video. And so you can today do a few things, okay? You can maybe learn a little bit about electromagnetic fields and minimize your exposures. Like here, this is a good one. Look where the power lines come into your house. Don't have your bed on that wall, especially because you're getting hit with major milligauss. That's magnetic fields. Mattresses, okay, with bed springs. Now think about this. You got harmonics, your electromagnetic fields, and you got bed springs in your mattress. You're sleeping on your left side. Your mattress becomes another transmitter. And there's a correlation between American left breast cancer in China and Japan. Japan don't have it because they have futons. And we'll do a video just on that. I was hired by a mattress company to do a study for a couple of years, and you not believe what I found. I'm trying to do videos in the mornings. I just like flip a coin. Okay, let me give you a 30-minute video on something that you probably don't know about. And obviously, you don't know about harmonics. It's not going to be on TV. I don't know why I'm wearing reading glasses. You know what? I've been wearing them for 10 years, and it's like I can't see without them out. Anyways, so we can lower them. If we must have chargers, don't put those near your bed. Change your light bulbs out. And then electrically, you may have a major problem. Like there's homes that they use 2-wire, 3-wire low voltage systems back in the late 60s to early 80s. Those are problems. I don't know how to fix those. So those, the way they're wired with the 2-wire, the low voltage lighting system, not the electrical outlets, but the lights, and they create a bunch. Then you got people, this is going to get a lot of people pissed, but some of the solar panel systems are causing dirty electricity, major harmonics in your home. I mean, and so you throw all this stuff in there, and then you live underneath a tower, a radio tower. All these things are causing your body electricity to go up. The doctors aren't going to tell you that, and that's why grounding is so important. I mean, at least I'm like, look, let's check it out. Won't let me do it. I'm barefoot, okay? And so being barefoot, my phone was doing crazy stuff, and I try to show you my tennis shoes, no tennis shoes, barefoot. And so, grounding yourself, stepping outside is a great way of helping out. I had a buddy, he's an engineer, and he watched my video. I got a video on YouTube on this stuff, somewhere in there. And he watched the video, and he works he's not a factory, he's an engineer, industrial engineer. And they got all these machines and these and this does it too. If you got your shoes on, you go to work, and you're around motors, oh my God, transformers, your body's just picking this stuff up. You got your shoes on, and you're working on wires, you're picking up all this electricity, and your body burden electrical goes up, your immune system's going down, okay? Somebody sneezes, you get sick, you touch something dirty, the amoeba takes over in your body. If you didn't have a parasite, now you got one. And so he comes home, he goes through a whole factory, and he's like, holy cow. And in one of my videos, I showed people how to ground your bed, how to ground, grounding sheets. I'll have some of that stuff below if you want to buy them. Okay, get them for me. I'm an Amazon affiliate. I don't get a lot of money for this, but I don't make a lot of that either. But so he goes in and he decides to ground himself. So he has a wire that he connects to his. He's an engineer, so he knew that his cold air or supply ducts were grounded in a way. So he just hooked the wire to it and he touched it. He was underneath the sheet, and he said that he like sparked out. He sparked out. It was just like, wow, he couldn't believe how much electricity was in his body. And it wasn't like the 4th of July for him, but he did say he sparked, and that was grounding, and so he had a lot in him. And so, people, you got to think about that. The doctors aren't going to tell you these crazy things that make you sick. I mean, I told you we're electrical systems, and if we've got high electricity being, in our home, in our body, then that kills our immune system. And when our immune system's down, that's how we die and get sick. I mean, that's why old people die. They have no immune system. They just whatever, what anything will get them. Even like that 2019 thing that the Chinese made up. Well, you think they made it up? We paid them to make it up. I mean, you're worried about that lab over there that had a release. Man, we got 30 of these things in America. Matter of fact, we had a lab that was on an island, Plum Island, that a hurricane hit, and now all of a sudden we got Lyme's disease. Yeah, weaponized ticks. And you can look all this up. They admitted to that one. But what about they admit to one thing, right? What about the other 99 things they don't tell you about? That's where you have to have critical thinking. You got to stay an individual. That's where you can't believe the narrative. You can't believe the collective. You can't believe in any of that because like they're telling people to spend $200 on tennis shoes, because they think they need them. People like treat these tennis shoes like they're gold. So I mean, I'm a home inspector. I've been to homes. These people are inner city. They got no money. There's nothing in the refrigerator. Nothing. Like some frozen pizzas. They eat out of boxes and cans. Oh, by the way, eating out of boxes and cans and drinking bad food all hurt your immune system. Now you add all that to that body burden from the harmonics. It's like I said, it's not a black box. It's a bunch of stuff. You can do this here. You got to do this. You got to do this, and so hopefully it helps you out. They got dogs sleeping and cats sleeping in their bed, and they're living filthy, right? And you open up the closet, man, you got 100 pair of tennis shoes in there. I swear to God, this is what they think is important in life because that's what they told them. Their perceptions are completely skewed. And so now, not only that, they're spending their whole life earning on that lottery tickets, of course, right? And, they feed their kids Cheerios, and and so they're wearing tennis shoes that they bought that are making them even more sick. And they switch them for another pair of tennis shoes on. And the Indians were barefoot for a reason. The Amish, you ever see Amish? I go to Amish all the time, to their auctions and I buy eggs and stuff out there. They're all barefoot, man. They're running around barefoot. I'm not sure it's because they can't afford $200 tennis shoes. They must know something. Now they are sick people and their teeth are all falling out and they like their cousins really, and that's why they're not that intelligent. But we won't get into that. We'll save that one. Yes, I got people on there Bluetooths. Yeah, well, it's not so much the Bluetooth. It's the transmitter in the phone that you're holding, transmitting to the Bluetooth, right? Because whenever your phone is trying to grab signals and put out signal, that's a whole other frequency. And if you read the fine lines that they give you with your cell phone, we'll do video on cell phones. That's another problem. Yes, that hurts your immune system. Yeah, sure, that kills um, the antibodies. It doesn't let you get free radicals all over your body because you're not killing the free radicals. You're not taking care of it. Your immune system's going down. You're susceptible to those 500 things we talked about. Yeah, phones are a whole other issue. Not only that, it's a chip. You're chipped. 5 billion of us are chipped. They know everything. And yeah, so all the electronic stuff, and we're wired in, and we're sitting on our cell phones, and yeah, those are all frequencies too, but they're plugged into our walls. But we sleep in our homes, and so each room has a different frequency because you have harmonics. In this room, you may have a lot of lights. The entrance, you have like a chandelier, let's say, with 100 I don't know, LEDs, right? And there's 3 dimmer switches in the room. Whole different ballgame, right? I'm not telling you to go down and hide in the cellar, but you could be smart about it and start learning about electricity, um, and like I said, I'll do more videos. And today was the harmonics. Lower the harmonics in your house, and grounding too. Now, real quick, you walk your dog, and these telephone poles are grounded right there. Your dog's getting sick because he's picking it up. He's picking it up from the ground. So when you ground your house and you put, let's say you put, I got my house is grounded. I'm a special ground rod in the ground away from the house ground rod, because that alone produces electromagnetic fields. So you don't want to be near when you ground yourself. Don't go outside to where your electrical ground rod's at, because that's where all the bad voltage is going anyways. Don't ground yourself in front of the telephone pole, because that's grounded to the ground. Go to your backyard where there's no grounds. That's how you do it. Just stay away from bad soil too, because you could have the ground could be charged from your ground rod. So stay away from electrical ground. Don't have chairs. Let's say you got a basement and you got wiring. Don't put your rocking chair above that. Don't put your rocking chair above a fluorescent light, like not a tube light, a 4-footer. Those are really complex fluorescent lights that are elongated, and so you can do a lot of stuff. Get rid of the dimmer switches, switch off the light bulbs. Don't stand next to the microwave while you're cooking. You know, don't have anything plugged in your room that's near you within 5 feet of yourself. And that causes all the other frequencies we talked about earlier. Also, if you got questions, I do have a service. On Just Google, call Marko, Marko, with a question. Yeah, you're going to cost you some money, not a lot. Almost, I'm not going to tell you how much, because I'm going to probably increase it here in next couple of years. But I've talked to people for 10, 15 minutes, solve their problems instantly that other people can't. Other people I had to talk to longer. Sometimes they don't charge them. I feel bad. They're getting sick, and I talk to them. They come from all over the country. Um, you know, I don't want to be doing it all day long, but I do some of that. Also locally, yeah, I come out. People call me. I call them frequency inspections, and I'm not going to tell you I'm going to solve your cancer and your sickness, but at least you'll be smarter. And actually, if you don't want to hire me, you can learn on your own. Especially if you still have some critical thinking capabilities and you're capable of looking stuff up. Yes, look it up. So this video, all right, I'm on 37 minutes. So this is called Harmonics. So hey, thanks for coming on. And I didn't script this, so I probably missed a ton of stuff. But that's okay. I'll remember stuff and put in other videos, and you can look this stuff up. Don't forget, below I do have some links. Maybe there's a couple. I may put a couple books down there because mine's not out yet. But you can read some of that. That'll help you. Just remember, you're spending 70% to 80% of your life in your house. Not rocket science. Where are you getting sick? In your house. Our houses are making us sick. The doctors know that. The government knows that. The electrical companies knows that. And it's just not dirty electricity and harmonics. We've got outgassing products. We build our houses. Our houses don't have the buffer capacity of holding moisture, so we got the mold thing going on. We got the bugs going on because the animals sleep with us. We've got carpets. We've got tight homes that can't dry when they get wet. We've got products that can't hold moisture, release moisture. We got building codes that are stupid as hell. We put vapor barriers on the interior walls. I mean, basically putting a condom on your house, okay, and you're living in a condom. Yeah. Somebody farts, everybody's got to smell it. Same thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fart. It could be volatile organic compounds. It could be microbial volatile compounds. It could be dust. It could be particulate. Point ones, point twos, point fives. It could be, it could be soot. It could be negative pressure, carbon dioxide, methane, all kind of good stuff in our homes. And so it's not a bad idea to take your shoes off and ground yourself, right? Oh, get that fresh air for a couple of minutes, go back in, close the windows, turn up the HVAC, which by the whole other thing will make you sick. I got a whole section of my book on that. But anyways, hey, thanks for coming on. Rate, subscribe, and lower the harmonics in your house. You want to listen to radio stations in every room.